Hello, everyone. Welcome into the first episode of the Female Revolution. I am so excited to be here. I'm Jen, and
I'm Sue.
of course, we're both bringing the fire. So we have transitioned a bit, and we're super excited that this is the first time we get to share space with everybody again. It's been a minute since we've recorded, so I have been jonesing for my bestie and spending this time chatting about all things divine feminine and female related. So that is definitely what we're going to be doing here. And we're going to talk about kind of why are we talking about this? What is revolutionary? So we'll talk about that today as well, but I think why we're here. And I think it might be nice for both of us to take a minute and like, hey, this is a little bit of who I am, where I've been, why this is a passion of mine. And then we'll really define what is a revolution and what is a revolutionary, right? So if we're going to start this journey, I wanted it to be very clear what we were talking about, because probably we've all got a little bit different ideas of those things. So this is really built though, when Sue and I started talking about shifting gears a bit, the quote that comes to mind for me, hardcore, is by Laurel Thatcher Ulrich, which she said, well-behaved women seldom make history. And at 50, I know I'm ready to stop being the nice woman. I think I'm sort of over that shit, if I'm being completely fucking real. For me, that I am all about grit. And I think I am okay being a pain in the ass if it makes change, right? And it doesn't mean I'm trying to be rude or mean or any, but I'm okay being annoying if it means we get to shift some shit in our culture. So I think that's very much where I'm coming from. And so we love that. And then let's talk about a little bit. So one of the things we also love. So we're gonna do a couple things that are different in this podcast. One, we're going to share resources, songs, quotes, things that we love that are female related, resources. If there's something neat and novel that we bump into that we fall in love with, we want to share that with all of you. We will be talking, we've already created a Spotify playlist, which is really fun. So we would love for you to go over and join us. We'll put that link in the show notes. We would love for you to add your own really powerful juice into that playlist because it'll just elevate and amplify all of us. So please, when you get a sec, go check that out. But we'll be talking about songs from time to time. And today I'm going to give full on transparent kudos to Sue, who actually brought this song to my awareness. It's a song called Wild by Lolo. And it's just jamming. So it's just such a good jam to start with. First of all, if you like ever have that morning you wake up, you're like, oh, like, limp noodle sound. Pull this song up, do yourself a freaking
So good.
It's so fucking good. So
it's the one right now that I fire up when I'm leaving for work. Like
yes.
I get in my car and boom, I fire it up. I back out of the garage and bam, I'm off.
Exactly. It's just that kind of juice. So a couple of the lines I love really well in here, and it's very indicative of, I think, the energy that Sue and I are bringing, which is rise up, fire in the ashes now. So a lot of what we're going to be talking about is burning shit to the ground. We're going to take the old ways of doing things as women. We're going to burn that away and rise up like a phoenix from the ashes. So that's that one line even is like, just like harnesses the juice of exactly why we're here today. And then, and she says, and I love this, I just did a retreat for women and I played this song and it says, ain't nothing wrong with getting a little bit wild. What I want you to think about, right, is the notion that when we're willing to show up and be just a little bit crazy and a little bit out of the box, right, which is totally my jam, that like rebellious spirit that I have running just wildly through me. So that's what we're getting at. Can we be a little bit wild? Can we reharness the wild version of us before the world got a hold of us? And that's what it means to me, to be wild. It's like, we're going to erase everything we thought we know. We're going to come back in, we're going to raise from the ashes, and we're going to create something that's the wildest, most beautiful form of who we all are. So I know Sue and I are so excited to welcome you all into this. That's kind of the vibe. Sue, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your background, why you're passionate about being here. Because I just want everybody to get to know us a little bit again. Maybe you've been with us before and you're kind of transferring from one podcast to the next. But in case you're fully new, it's nice for you to hear a little bit from us about who we are and why we're showing up here.
Because I'm here because I can be, because it's my divine right. But really, I don't think that people realize until maybe later on in life, or until maybe something you know, maybe something somebody says to you that resonates with you that makes you realize, oh, wait, like we're grown up, we grow up, we're raised with a certain normal, especially our
Yeah,
generation
for
and
sure.
generations before us. I
Yeah.
feel like the generations subsequently who came after us
Hmm.
have good building blocks that were created maybe by our generation, and hopefully that continues on down the line. But
Absolutely.
I feel like it is time, you know, you reach a point in your life where you look back and you maybe reevaluate, or you hear things in a
Hmm.
different way that maybe wasn't necessarily acceptable or shouldn't have been when you
Hmm.
were growing up, but now it is.
Hmm.
um, and when it comes to what your role is as a person, but even more so as a woman, there are so many more restrictions put on you, and you
Hmm.
hear it from day one.
Hmm.
I have made observations in the past where I've had friends who are so relieved when their gender reveal party takes place and they find out they're having a boy. They're so relieved. Oh, thank God it's a boy.
Hmm.
Because raising a daughter, and I can't speak for any of them, but the idea of raising a boy is just so much easier
Hmm.
because of whatever conditioning we have in our cellular makeup at this point
Hmm.
that makes it difficult to have a daughter. It would, you have a daughter, and so
I
I
do.
can't speak to it. I don't even know where I would begin with having a daughter. I'm pretty sure if I had a daughter at this point in my life, if she was still younger ish and still living
Yeah.
with me and I was
Yeah.
responsible for her, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I'd pack her up in my little VW van that I'm going to buy
Down by
someday.
the river.
Right.
Yep.
And I would take her somewhere where I could just be like, okay, here's your divine right. I'm going to tell you right now what your fucking divine right is,
Yeah.
so that you can go out into the world and not let anyone tell you anything different.
Absolutely.
Because we have grown up, you know, when you, and again, I have a lot of analogies and comparisons and certain things, but when you see like a piece of fruit, you see a tomato or a grape or an apple or something,
Hmm.
that you can tell that it had an obstacle. That makes sense. Like, I had a cucumber once that was like this summer, Jeffrey, it was like an S shape because it got up against the fence and it still grew, but it grew around the fence
Yes.
and it grew in a different shape.
Yes.
We are born
Hmm.
a clean slate.
Hmm.
There's a white, black, brown,
Hmm.
whatever religion, whatever
Hmm.
gender, whatever
Yep.
sexual orientation, we
Yep.
are all born the same.
Exactly.
White slate. We
Yep.
have different economical restrictions against us. We
Of
have different
course.
societal things against us. But at the end of the day, our first couple of minutes as a human being is the same as everyone else's.
Yeah. Right.
And then culture comes in, and
Exactly.
then society comes in, and it
Right.
tells you who you're supposed to be. So
Exactly.
we come out a certain way, we act a certain way, and then at a certain point in our life,
Yep.
we have something put up in front of us like a vine. We have to grow around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it forms us differently. It becomes a
Yes.
cellular level. So by the time we get to be an adult,
Hmm.
as women especially, it makes sense that that guy was mean to us because he likes us. It makes sense that mom told us that we shouldn't let our bra strap show because
Yep.
that'll give boys the wrong idea. It makes sense to us because
Uh-huh.
that is what we had to grow around.
Hmm.
And I'm at
Hmm.
that point now where I'm like, well, fuck that.
Exactly. 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 So we want to go in and we want to those obstacles. I love your now. Oh my God, the piece of fruit. That's my favorite. That might be my moment of the day so far. Oh my God. There's always gems Sue's going to throw in there, but I swear that was like optimal timing for me. But we want
And
to go
yeah,
in and we want to take away, start removing the obstacles. We want to allow us to find that straight line and alignment again, right? So when she said like life shows up and it just happens for all of us, whether it's something someone says, does, things you watch in TV, understand you're digesting material all day, every day. One more time. You're digesting material all day, every day that is informing you of who you're supposed to be in
yeah,
music, in commercials, in
yep.
movies,
Movies,
posters,
TV,
graphics,
family
t-shirts,
gatherings.
family gatherings. I mean, literally everywhere you go. And we're not proposing that there's a maliciousness, right? We're just saying
Right.
this is because that doesn't help us to change it. To be honest, like whether it's malicious or not, it's just there. It's just a thing.
Yep.
But I do want us thinking about if I'm digesting and ingesting all that all the time, so to speak, I'm carrying around so much freaking history.
Yes.
And right. And what we want to think about is what Sue mentioned right out the gate is the history of being women is honestly, it's felt like, and I will not dive in. I do often talk about women's history because of what I do for a living, which I'll talk about in a minute. But I love talking about the idea of just think is a perfect example of the witch trials.
Yes.
Just for a minute, right? Like, right. So
I did not know that's where you were going, but that's where my mind went. So,
okay, good. So I'm glad we're on the same wavelength. What I think is powerful to think about is there have been layers of transformation for women. There's shifts happening all the time. And I will be honest, I'm not satisfied with how quickly they're happening.
right.
I'm not. I'm just going to be real about it. I'm 50. I've got things to do here. Like I'm so serious.
Right.
But what I want us to think about is the witch trials where, and by the way, I want you to know that back in the day, for a very, very long time, so many cultures actually started with the idea of a goddess. By the way, they
Wait, you
weren't
mean,
male figures.
wait,
Yeah, I
a
know.
female? A female?
I know.
What?
What? So,
What?
right, I know.
What?
This is what I'm saying. So just understand that so many religions and cultures before it ever became this sort of really patriarchal society were based on women. And so I think it's fascinating to just take note of that and then start looking at when I think religion, all sorts of stuff starts leaning in. And this is not, again, not pointing fingers, not right. We're just understanding. We're just like creating a base of understanding, a foundation. And then all of a sudden, witch trials happen. And any woman that's a little different, maybe even has some mental health issues,
Disobedient to the man in her life.
disobedient to the man, is burned at the stake or drowned. Okay. So, I mean, I went, you know, literally headhunted by people for not fitting in a certain box. That is so detrimental. And I really want you to think for a minute. I know it sounds so goofy, but if you really think about it, I think it's called epigenetics, which I love the concept. Just conceptually roll with me. Like, blah, blah, blah. We're not going to talk science. I promise. Okay. What I'm getting at is epigenetics, the idea that it's our energy, our experiences, our DNA is passed down generation. So actually, as you're walking upon the earth as a woman, there is a part of you in your history, your lineage, your grandma's grandma, that women were not treated equally and with any respect and regard. Okay. That is living within you. We get the privilege of unraveling and unwiring this grand lie about women's power and their place in the world. And this is, again, no shade on men specific, on grandmothers. There's no point in that. It's just, let's lay out the truth of it though. Let's start this foundational truth with an awareness that that has set a tone. And now it's our job to unravel that and create a new thing. That to me, that's where I'm excited, is like, let's create the new thing. So my work that I do with women is based on 22 years of traditional psychotherapy background history. I'm a clinical social worker and did very traditional therapy for years and years and years. Loads of women were on my caseload. And then I moved into mentorship. So now I actually mentor women differently. So some of our podcast now is going to have a little bit of mentor vibe. I'm not going to lie. From trying to juice you up with some music, but then also giving you some shout out to action, which is a little bit different, right? So that's intentional. We want it to be that we feel like we're actually creating change. We're not just talking about it, we're doing the change. And so in my background, I'm certified as a yoga instructor, Reiki master, crystal healer, TFT or EFT, sorry, tapping, all sorts of modalities. My specialty, my very favorite, is meditation. But there's so many things I've trained in. And really what I do is bring all that together now to mentor women. Okay. So I host retreats. I speak in corporations. I speak on stage. Like I love all of that stuff. So I kind of have a whole basket of goodies, a buffet, if you will, of things that I'd love to do. And mentorship for women is really the cornerstone of what I do now. So That's a little bit about me and my history. There's more to say there, but those pieces will come with time. Like we don't have to dive into all that right now. But I just want to set that tone for women's history. And listen, don't just take my word for it. If you want an action item, right, you don't have to do this. Go research. There is a book by Betty Friedan. Do you know what it is? Betty Friedan? No, shit.
Yeah, I read it in college. Do you think
So
I
did
can
I.
remember it
So did
now?
I. Betty Friedan, and it's about women.
It's not the feminine mystique. No, that's older.
No,
Is
I
that
think that
it?
might be it. I
Is
think
that
oh,
it?
we're on it. So friends, you don't even know. So first of all, if you're listening, we do this. Sue loves it. Don't let her fool you. We do both video recording, which she hates the video part.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I do.
She hates me for that, but we put it on YouTube so you all can actually join and like see us because I am such a visual person. So Betty Friedan, um, because Sue and I both read it. It's seriously an incredible piece of writing. Feminine Mystique. You
Okay.
nailed it, woman. I was like, that sounds right. So
Okay.
Betty Friedan wrote The Feminine Mystique. This was literally set in the 50s-ish. I
Yeah.
think that's the era.
50s, 60s. Yeah.
Go ahead. Okay. Betty Friedan, Feminine Mystique, right out the gate. Look her up. The other one, Reviving Ophelia. Do yourself a solid. I'm going to throw out just a few here today, which I wasn't even planning on doing, and here we are. Reviving Ophelia, and I forget who the author is absolutely incredible. And so you have spectrums. So Betty Friedan is this very, like, I've given you the witch trials and some of that back, not a lot, but like laid that groundwork. Then we're going to move into where we're like Betty Friedan, 50s, women stay home, barefoot, pregnant, blah, 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 right? The whole old school idea of Beaver Cleaver and what's her name? What's her name? What's her name?
June. June
June,
Cleaver?
June Cleaver. Thank
June
you.
Cleaver.
Yes, June Cleaver.
Yeah.
So we're right, calling in that energy. She comes in and starts really talking about what's really going on here. Okay, so I love this. I learned this in a feminine studies course in college, just like Sue. Loved it. So good. And so then Reviving Ophelia was written by, I'm gonna get that for you. Mary Piffer, PhD. I don't know how to pronounce that. I'm really sorry. Pipher. Then you lean into Reviving Ophelia, which I think the time frame is probably 90s, right? I mean, somewhere in the 90s. So then we kind of skip ahead. And then Reviving Ophelia is really about raising young women. And we start to see how these cultural contexts start playing a really big role. Okay. And I mean, a million books have been written since then. So this is not right. But we're just saying those are a couple of feminine studies course college books that we routinely get exposed to. Okay. So if you were in college taking classes now, I'm not sure they might not be reaching all the way back to Betty Friedan anymore, but I hope they do.
Yeah.
There's so much eye-opening content in these pieces. And so whether you're an avid reader or whether you just prefer to listen, do yourself a solid. I'm not actually kidding. Get your hands on these things and start reading. Set a foundational voice for your journey for yourself to understand. And this is, again, I am pissy about this. I have feminine rage. I have divine feminine fucking rage. And if you ask me, I will not mince words about that. And also, I think Sue and I want to be very clear from the very out kind of going of this entire podcast, this is not a man-hating space.
Correct. There's no men bashing.
No.
There's no blame throwing.
Yes.
It's not.
Nope. And we just felt very strongly, both of us, that traditional feminists have a very, I mean, there can be a really bad myth, kind of like a sense of the stigma.
Mm-hmm.
Feminists are these trailblazing, torch holding, man hating bitches.
Right.
That is not what we are proposing here at all. Will we talk about men? Will we talk about patriarchy? Will we talk about our experiences? You fucking bet we will. This podcast is meant to be gritty. It's meant to be authentic. And also we want to be very clear that the tone is not man bashing. Sue and I have really beautifully supportive men in our worlds.
Right.
So that's not, whatever we're bringing is old history stuff from DNA, right? Grandmothers, and our
Yep.
and also the set of circumstances we're living in. And some of them are still bullshit and crazy and blow my mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we want to take you. We just want to understand that tone, that underpinning of like, okay, where are we coming from? Where are we starting from? We're really starting from feminine history. And it's ugly and it's condescending. And it can be
Yeah.
um, a way to kind of take us down, right? And so that's what I think we're reworking now in our society is how can we reclaim that power that got lost in this old ugly history? Can't fix that. That's not going anywhere, but we can do something different moving forward. So I think that's really kind of the emphasis. So is there anything else that comes to mind as we're leaning into this that you want to add for why we're here, what it isn't, before we start talking about what is a revolution and what is a revolutionary? Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
Well, because I just want to set the tone too that, it's never a this or that. Like we were talking about circling back to the idea of like the angry feminist and the, man bashing or whatever.
Yes.
Just to reiterate on that, one thing to keep in mind that I wish people would keep in mind, I guess, is that it's not an all or nothing mentality. There's a scope for every community out there.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you'll find that. I mean, I know some feminists who will outright say, I fucking hate men.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yep, they're there.
But you'll also have men who will say, I fucking hate women. I literally had a guy say that to me once and then wanted to engage in a conversation with me. And I'm like, the fuck? Get out of my face. Right. So you kind of have to take just like everything else, you have to take what it is that you can glean from it in order to build a more better positive you.
Absolutely.
So yeah, you have your extremes over on this side
Mm-hmm.
in every single group, but really, truly, really, really, truly, this is yes, there are some feminists out there who are man hating and man bashing. That's kind of their thing and they're entitled to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that it doesn't line up with where we're coming from
Not at
in
all.
this particular delivery
Yeah,
in this
that's
podcast.
not our value set. So
Right.
I think it's very important to set that tone because as we lean in and we do talk about delicate things, I'm not going to lie. I know there's a lot of bandwidth and space for people to be like, oof, right? But also
Yeah.
I've said to Sue before we ever cite, like, I'm willing to piss off and annoy people, right? Like,
Right.
I'm willing to be mouthy if I get you to think, if I get you to shift out of the pattern that you've done your life in one way as a woman, we get to change that. And so for me, it's like, that's where that well-behaved women, I'm happy to be not well-behaved. I've been a rebel my entire life in one format or another, even though I've been very rule followy at some points, not going to lie. And I'm sure at some point we'll tell stories where those things will become clearer. But I'm just
Right.
going to tell you, always was a rebel. Don't like anything in a fucking box. Don't want people to put me in a box. Don't want people to look at me and see one thing and make lots of assumptions. Trust me, it's happened my whole fucking life. I'm sure it's happened to all of you as well. I'm sort of over that. So I'm willing to be mouthy and vocal and annoying and present if I can change something. And so that's really the gist of what we want to do here. And so we hope that setting that tone for understanding women's history and how we got here is helping to open that door up for new stuff to come in. Does that make, we want you to like, all right, okay, oh yeah, that's right. That was that way. That doesn't have to be that way. That was just one moment in history. We get the opportunity in our heightened awareness and culture and political climate, which we will not dive into because that holy hell. But I'm just
Mm.
going to say there's a lot of stuff going on in our culture right now. And if you're a dissatisfied woman and you're freaking scared, this is your place. And listen to me when I say this loud and clear. I'm sure this will piss somebody off. That's fine. Whatever your political line, and I'm not, and again, this is not no judgment. Everyone's welcome here to listen and lean in. And if you are empowering women, you're a sister. That's right. That's pure
Mm-hmm.
and simple. That's all that's needed. And I will say there is a lot of fear about our political climate and women's right to choose things.
Right.
I'm always going to advocate for that. I'm sorry. I'm always going to advocate for a woman to have a right to choose any aspect of her world. That's
Right.
that, and whether it's about your body, I get it, like the whole thing. I'm not diving into that deeply because I don't. Again, I don't. It's my goal is not to politically have an argument with anybody. But what I
Right.
am going to say is loud and clear, loud and clear. Women deserve to have a right to choose for themselves. Voting, bodies, health, money. There is no
Who
area.
they're talking to in a public space.
Exactly. I don't care what it is, we get to choose it.
Yeah.
So that's always, and I'm going to be clear. I don't want to step on Sue's toes. That's my statement be absolutely clear. This is where I stand. Do you have any statement that we, because I'm like, I just want to be very clear that that's where I'm coming from is about equality. You're going to hear me say that
Yes.
a lot. It's about equality. It's not power over, it's power in.
Yep.
Those are two very different concepts.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
What
And
are the baselines for you, honey?
yeah, just circling back again to what you were saying. I can't remember exactly what you said, but it was something along the lines of like, I'm going to piss people off or I'm going to be this. What did you say? What adjectives did you use?
Oh, I'm a rebel. I don't know.
Remember?
I'm just going to piss people off. I'm willing to have my voice.
Yeah,
If I annoy people, I don't care because if it gets you to think and change, then I'm here for it, I guess.
exactly. And then what I was going to say is like with the adjectives, like, well, I'm going to be this, that, and I'm going to be that. And I, this is kind of a side note, but just the idea that women are emotional, women are
Oh,
to this or women are to that, and it's yeah, but if a guy is right, so there's that there's that societal comparison again, because what I'm getting at again, not man bashing,
yeah.
but what I'm getting at is that you were like almost doing a precursor to what your emotions and feelings were going to be and almost apologizing for it.
Mhm.
Like, just so
Mhm.
you know, I'm going to be loud and I'm going to be boisterous. We don't have to like even put any sort of restrictions or caveat on that, but that's what we do. It's
Mhm.
okay. I know this is going to sound bitchy, but no,
Mhm.
fucking say it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Say
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. And that's, I think you and I are pretty vocal. I think that both of
Mm-hmm.
us tend to be very real in what we're bringing to the table. And so, and I really want to work on that for all of us is not apologizing for shit.
Correct.
It's really funny that you'd say that because that's such a vibe for women. So we
Yep.
do want to watch that. And I'll call it out in myself if I have that urge to like, oh, I feel like I
Same.
apologize for something. I want to call
Right.
myself out rather than doing the action. Right. This is a way to take action today. If you're listening,
Right.
don't fucking apologize for stuff you're actually not sorry for.
Exactly. And again, this is and this is, after we first get through this initial
Yeah.
conversation that we're having now, just introducing ourselves, it's going to temper out. But again, not man bashing. But just as an example of that, have you ever had not just a man, but maybe a strong woman
Mm-hmm.
precurse anything that they're about to say with, I don't mean to sound condescending, but no, there's no fucking time for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no time for it.
Well, I'm
I
sorry,
have
but
never had a mean thing said to me by a man and have him either apologize before or after.
yeah.
He's
Yep.
just being honest.
Exactly.
I'm not
Well,
attracted to you. It wasn't, oh, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I'm not attracted to you.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
But
but they
we
don't,
feel that need to just sugarcoat shit.
exactly. Or I'm sorry, but I have to say,
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, and I have to do this. We start by apologizing, which we
Constantly.
understand, ladies, is diminishing your power out the gate.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
Stop doing that.
That's the energy that you're putting out, and
Yes.
that's the energy that's going to be absorbed, and that's the energy that you're going to be treated with.
Eh, we don't want that. So we're going to
Right.
move away from that. So, what is a revolution? Okay, so it's super. What I love this is like give me so much joy. I know this is going to sound funny, so I'm going to tell a quick story because it's so cute. So, a revolution to me, I'll start there, is to me breaking down a system that's broken. Period. A revolution, and I'm sure I have a definition, the actual definition from a dictionary somewhere, but the definition as I completely absorb and take it into my world is someone who's ready to break down systems that don't fucking work anymore. Okay. So the sweet story about this, and then a revolutionary, before I get to my freaking story, the revolutionary is the person that's upholding that. Does that make sense? So the revolutionary is the person who's now leaning into helping to break down that system. If you're listening here, I consider you a revolutionary out the gate. If you're willing to listen, to contemplate, to ask hard questions, to lean into difficult conversation, you're already halfway there. So welcome. And I'm so glad you're here. So a revolutionary is just going to uphold like changing that status quo. And it's going to be actionable. Okay. All right. Cute story. So when I started leaning into this idea of revolution, I started using this language and I was talking to my healer and it was really sweet. She's like, I'm going to be honest. I don't really like that word. She's like, it feels youthful. It feels And she wasn't being a jerk. And she and I have a very good dialogue. This is literally like, I adore her. So I was like, okay, I'm going to listen to this. But she was like, it feels youthful. It feels like this is my reference for it. I'm like, I get it. But I was like, I still loved it. And I'm like, well, this is my feminine power. I'm empowered to go, well, you don't have to like it. You maybe don't get it and receive it, and that's okay, but I fucking love it. So I'm hanging out tight onto it. So then we circled back to creating this process, and I'm changing some of my branding in my business. And we started talking about it. She goes, well, it's really interesting. I went and looked it up and I read about revolution and revolutionary. And she goes, and actually, it really fits for what you're doing. And I was like, it does. I was like, so it's so fun. And it wasn't that I needed that validation because I knew what it meant for me. And that was where it has to come from, my power source, right? It's like, that's somebody's going to get it, somebody's not. It's going to get
Right.
some people are going to be like, meh. But to me, it was really neat to have her know me this long, walk this journey, do this research and go, actually, I see where you're going here. That's cool to me. So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
excellent. Now she like has the vision and whatever. So just really cool. So I want you to think about that. What is a revolution? The act of breaking down a broken system. A revolutionary is the person that's helping create action that's going to amplify and lift that kind of notion up so that we can create real change. Okay. So what qualities are in a revolutionary? So I'm going to start and then Sue, throw in your thoughts. Rebel energy. To me, I'm just going to be real, and I know I'm speaking about myself. Like I said, a baby doesn't sit in the corner. What the hell is that phrase from?
Nobody puts baby in the
There we
corner.
go. That's me. Hell to the no. You're not going to tell me who I am. You're not going to tell me what I'm made up of. You're not going to tell me what I cannot do. I have, for as long as I have been alive, had some part of a very rebellious spirit. Now, with it being said, in a work environment, did I do what my boss asked? Yep. And also, I fucking hate working for other people. I'm not going to lie. It's why I work for myself. Am I good at being an employee? You bet. Do I like it? No, because I like being my own damn boss and knowing what I want to do for my own purpose and my own alignment. I don't want somebody else doling that out to me because that's not their jam. It's mine. So to me, there's a rebel energy. What do you think about that, Sue? Where do you sit with
100%.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it's funny too, because over the years, I mean, when you think about it, when I think of revolution, I think Revolutionary War.
Yeah.
Not to get political,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, look at what that was rebellion.
It was rebellion.
But it was for survival. And that it was, rebel has turned into this bastardized word of, I probably shouldn't say that word, but it's turned into this mishmash of a negative connotation for somebody who does not behave, right? Who is, you're looking at the rules and you're saying, fuck that, I don't need to do that. That's not really what a rebel is. A rebel is someone who says, make me. No, I don't have to. I don't have to do this. And like you said, there's a fine line. I mean, I'm not going to go into my boss's office and have her ask me to do something different and say, make me. Well, that's you have to be a little where I'm in a leadership academy training right now. I work at a tech college and I'm in a leadership academy training, which is really, really eye-opening. And it's just an incredible program. And we've covered that. We're looking at our different Clifton strengths, and we covered, the authentic, performative, and authentic, adaptive, and performative self, which is like, oh, we do that, and we don't realize that. So when it comes to certain things, like, making sure you keep your job so that you can pay for things like, food.
Important.
You have to be a little adaptive.
Agreed.
Sometimes performative, but you kind of toe the line there a little bit. But at the same time, when someone says, like, my boyfriend is a great example of this. It's like, well, you have a family reunion, you should go to the family reunion. He's like, why? Right? Like your nephew is getting married, or what, this is all like generic examples, but like your nephew's getting married, you should go to the wedding.
Right.
Why? Right. Is the wedding not going to happen if I'm not there? Is the family reunion going to happen if I'm not there? I don't want to be there.
Exactly.
Therefore, I'm not going to go. That is a rebellious act that isn't hurting anybody. Right. And it's keeping him in a space where he feels more comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's allowed, but it's, oh, you're a rebel, Exactly. So the whole idea of revolutionary is breaking down a system that's broken, and that can be within yourself, it can be within a community, it can be within a family, it can be within the world, it can be within your country, your
Absolutely.
state, your city,
Yeah.
whatever. And it's
Everything.
all encompassing. It's not female versus male, it's human with
Yeah.
human,
Yeah. Precisely.
so
Precisely.
it's just so all encompassing.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I love a good rebel energy, not gonna lie. That's my vibe. Someone who sees a system that is outdated and ready to lead the changes needed. I love that. So the idea that like I'll lead the charge. If I wait for somebody else to do it. And listen, I'm also gonna say this briefly because I think this is very important. I don't know a world where every single person can pick up every gauntlet for every issue they've got an issue with. I'm not doing it.
Right.
So I know this is mine. It isn't going to be everybody's. So, and
Right.
I have no shade about that. We need people that are game changers in every corner of the world. We
Mm-hmm.
do. So if this is not yours, that's okay. It's mine, right? So I imagine the people come and listen to you and I talk will be on board with this, but I'm just saying, I understand we can't pick every single issue. Okay.
Right.
This is my jam. But I do think we need people that are brave enough to lean in and create real, actual change, actionable items. So that is what we're trying to do, is create those changes as needed. They're leaders. I want to create leaders. It was interesting when I was talking to my healer, and she was like, so we're talking about my new branding. And so she goes, so really, you're trying to create leaders? Fuck yes.
Yeah.
Now, listen, do I mean, when I say leader, let me be clear. Am I saying you then have to go get on a stage and talk in front of 3,000 people on it? No. Do you have to start up your live YouTube channel? Sue hates being on camera. No, I'm not going to ask. But can she lead at work? Does she lead with her fucking words? Does she lead by example? Right? This is her voice. That is her genre, her way of sharing her light in the world. One of them that's very profound and potent because she fucking kicks ass at it is her voice. That is leading. So I want you to also expand your mindset when you think leading. It's when I lead by example. When I live my life from this aligned space by this value set, whatever yours is, people are watching, kids, friends, other women, our partners. So you can lead in a million ways. That does not get lost in translate because there's so many ways to do this. And I think that's what's brilliant. I'm only asking you to lead in the way that you feel comfortable. Okay. And maybe, because one of my words on here is going to be brave. Maybe it's that you get a little more vocal with time. Maybe it's that you feel a little bit more comfortable confronting something if you see it that feels really visibly not okay. So there's things that we can grow into, but I'm going to ask you only to lead in the capacity you feel comfortable with in this moment to start there. Okay. You don't have to go create monumental. You can go talk on the Capitol Hill. I love that if that's your jam. If that's not your jam, go vote. If that's not your jam, talk about it with your friends. I don't care where and how you're doing it. I care that you're doing it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And honoring yourself and the female divine energy that we're all carrying around with us. Thoughts on that, Sue, before I keep scooting, because I want to make sure that you're having an opportunity to pipe in there, because I got I have a list in front of me. Sue does not have that list, so I'm apologizing in advance because I'm reading off my list. Thoughts on that at all?
No, I have a rebel story, but we can talk about it later.
Okay.
It just happened. It's just recent. I'm really proud of myself. It's not something that I would have done even like 2-3 years ago.
So
And I'm
say it.
just
Let's
like,
talk about a rebellious moment, because I'm sure I've got one. Go. What's yours?
really? You want me to tell it now?
No, tell it, because we're gonna get far away. We're gonna forget. Go.
Okay, that's
I
fair.
love it. That's why we're here.
So I live out in the country, and there's someone who lives out here, and there's a lot of development coming out here too. So in about 10 years, I'm probably not going to be living in the country anymore because
Yep.
we don't need trees. She says with sarcasm. But anyways, so there is somebody who lives out here, and my soul is embedded in nature. It's
Mhm.
just, it's everything nature. It's like, I literally had a conversation with a caterpillar last night. I shit you not.
Oh, I believe that.
He was looking up at me, like he heard my voice and he like looked up, and then he put his head back down, or his head, whatever you want to call it. And then I talked again and he lifted his little, it was a adorable. It was adorable. So, anyways, so that's my jam. It's just been a connection of mine. It kind of got beat out of me a little bit, bullied, I guess you could say,
Sure.
but not completely. And now it's kind of back on the rise, only because it's always been there. It's just that now I'm really
Yeah.
harnessing it. So we have a lot of deer out here and squirrels. We finally actually have like actual squirrels, not just red squirrels. Well, I love red squirrels too, but they're so mean. But
Oh, they're so naughty.
they're so naughty and they're so rebellious.
Yeah, they are.
But gray squirrels, brown squirrels, and so it's just kind of nice to be able to have that population out here again. For the first couple of years I lived here, there weren't any, and now there is, which is really cool. So a couple of weeks ago, I'm in a play, and so I was leaving my house to go to the show. It was already dark because it's freaking November in the Midwest, and truck was coming by, and we'd seen him go by our house before, shining deer, which is not illegal. It's you can't have ammo in the vehicle with you, and you can't be like on the road, but it's legal. It's douchey. I'm sorry. I know that people do this as a habit, like, oh, we used to go do that all the time when we were kids, and it's like, well, then you're fuck. Okay, I'm not going to say that, but it's a douchey thing to do because. Okay, but here, in case you're not familiar with what shining is, because again, Midwest, it might not be something that's all across the country, but you take a really bright light and you go out at night and you shine your bright light and you find deer, and then you get them in the beam of light and it freezes them. In theory, then you could kill them.
Right.
Because they're standing still, and that makes you a really shitty hunter and a really bad person, because fuck you. Because here's the thing. Go to your kitchen sometime, go to grab an apple or a nice little tasty morsel that you want to eat, and then imagine a bright light coming into your house, and now you're frozen and you are completely without defenses. That's what you're doing to the deer, so fuck you. So my point in this is, guy goes driving past the house. I see the beam of light coming out of his car. It's reflecting off the field across our road. And so I'm like, oh, this will be fun. So I pull out of the driveway. I threw on my brights, and he was kind of stopped alongside the road. And I looked out and I'm like, well, maybe he's just looking for his keys. Maybe he's just looking, maybe somebody walked away. Maybe he has a geriatric family member who took off or something, and he's just looking for his loved one. No, I followed the beam of light, and there's a couple of sets of eyes out there looking, paralyzed because they can't fucking move. They can't see. And I'm like, oh, so it's an asshole in a truck. Now, I know what some people might be thinking. Well, hunting, it's for food. Sure. Dude was driving a $60,000 fucking truck. He doesn't need to hunt to buy food. Okay? And I don't have anything against hunting, but going out and stalking wildlife for pleasure is bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's cruel.
Yeah.
So I got up, I had my brights on. He was kind of pulled over. He was kind of starting to get out of his truck. I pulled up right behind him, still with my brights on. And then I pulled up behind, still moving. And then I kind of pulled around a little bit more, and I went past him really slow. He flipped me off, which is fine.
That's nice. That's lovely.
And then just after, I got lights beam still on the deer, and he's getting out of his truck now, which by the way isn't legal. And I pass him, and I just get past him, and I lay the shit off my horn. Like, I am on my horn. Deer is gone. And was he doing anything illegal? Technically, when he got out of his truck, he was. But I wasn't doing anything illegal either. I was just like, run, Bambi's mom, run.
Exactly. Run, babies, get out of here. No, totally.
And then, of course, is that going to fix anything? Is that deer going to end up in somebody's freezer this winter? Probably. Is it gonna fix anything? No. Do I have anything against hunting? No. We got deer venison sticks in our refrigerator. I'm eating them.
I think you're talking about the ethics, the integrity with which
it is.
You show up to
it's
things.
For habit. It's for sport. What are you getting out of doing this?
Right.
Like my dad was a hunter, and I loved, sometimes he'd come home and I'd be like, oh, did you get anything? Nah, I saw a few doe, but they came and they were standing there and they had their babies and they were so pretty. I just couldn't do it. So he just sat and enjoyed the moment.
When Zach was doing it more avidly, he was doing it, and he would come home and he'd be like, no, I didn't get anything, but it's just so peaceful. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a big avid hiker,
Yep.
nature, like loves it. So for him, he was like, I just love that I'm sitting in the outdoors for 3 and 4 and 5 hours. Like that to him, that's like, okay, if I get something, I get it. And this was back in the day, but it was
Right.
really about like enjoying actual nature. And so I think everything is about the juice behind why
And
you're.
I think for the most part, I do believe that everybody that I know is like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, the ethics are there
Yeah.
and the gentleness and the
Yes.
compassion is there.
Passion.
And that
Exactly.
I think that probably 96% of the population of people who do like deer hunting and
Yeah.
squirrel hunting, I do think that that is where their heart lies.
I do too.
I do believe that it is for like, I can do this. I'm going
Yeah.
to do it ethically. I'll do it legally.
Yeah.
That is, those are the ones that you really see. The ones who will poach a deer and throw its carcass in the field so it can take the head in the middle of June. Those are the people that I would like to see driven through town on a rail, because you
Yes.
are taking advantage of your fellow. You're taking something that doesn't belong to you.
Yeah. Right.
You're taking something that it's not yours. It doesn't belong to you, and you don't have a right to it
Right.
just because you can trap it.
Right.
That it does it that's it, there's something just really messed up about that
Yeah.
in my brain that
Yeah.
I have a really hard time with.
Yeah.
So that was like, I'm like, okay. And at the same time, did I kind of I called Jeffrey right after that, and I said, if I end up dead in the ditch, here's why.
Oh dear. I'm sure he loved that.
Because I know. He's like, what?
I
I
know.
said, it's because I pissed somebody off because of my like drive and love of nature. And I explained to him what happened. And he said, well, if it makes you feel any better, they're not allowed to have ammo in their vehicle. I said, wait a second. So what they're doing is legal? He says, yeah, if they don't shoot them. And I'm like, then what is the fucking point? I, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't get it. But anyways, so that was my tiny little, like I said, a few years ago,
Yeah.
I would have just been like, oh, that's so sad. I can't believe he's doing it. And I kind of felt like I did a little something to help out the deer.
Yeah. No, I get it. I love that. I know mine is definitely more personal development related. So in my journey, what I'm thinking that I've been doing a lot of like rebelling, like where in my life am I doing that? And it's really not necessarily I mean, it's outward in my action, but it's very inward work. I don't know if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So I think a lot of mine is that people pleasing part of me
Yes.
that has been around for a very long time. And so when someone asked me to do something, so this was not that long ago, and listen, and this is no shade on my sister, so my poor sister, but my sister, I was coming into Madison. We were going to visit my dad. It had been a long time. Chloe was coming with us. It had been a minute since we've been able to go see him. And for those that are following along, my dad is in a hospice and he's in a retirement home. He's got Alzheimer's. He's cognitively declining. It's a whole thing. So that was very nice and nutshell there for you. But anyway, and it's very hard for my daughter to come with us because she's in college and she's got very hard classes. It's special when she gets to come. So we were really looking forward to it. But the week leading up to my travel was super busy. I mean, like hairy, gnarly, busy days. Okay. And my sister sent me a text. She's like, why don't you bring a signature drink this weekend?
Wait, what?
A signature drink, a cocktail. She was like, go find something fun, essentially, and let's make us. And I went, yeah, no, I don't have time for that. No, listen. It does not sound like a big thing. Like I understand it's like good for you, right? No, because the people pleaser in me and my role in my family as the baby has commonly been get in line and do what you're being asked.
Yep.
Not because someone's being a jerk, or that's not what I'm saying. It's my own take on it.
Right.
But my current rebellion, my current revolution is saying fucking no. That doesn't work for me. I don't have time for that. And not feeling like I have to like apologize my way out of it. That doesn't work for my schedule right now.
Right.
And where the progress comes in from my take, and because again, if you're new here and you know me real well, I've been on a personal development streak for my whole life. I mean, like personal growth and therapy and work on yourself is something that I really value. So I've been doing this a long time. What I will say is cool about that particular engagement was I, in the past, might have been able to talk myself into saying, no, thank you. And then I would have had angst about it.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I did not have angst about it. That does not
Yay.
work. I'm not apologizing. And I have to go into my text these days and I have to go, I'm sorry, delete, delete, delete. I have to go back and I'll have to go in and go, you don't owe an apology on this. Did you step on her toe? Did you
Right.
walk with the 2x4 in an accident? Did you bump into her bumper with your car backing out of the driveway? Why are you fucking saying you're sorry?
Right. Did you punch her in the face? I
No, it
mean,
just
yeah.
doesn't work. It wasn't
Right.
shitty. It doesn't work. I'm too busy to say that is not where my priority is in this moment. I can't. I don't have time.
Right.
So to me, where I see the progress that I get excited by is that it doesn't have as much oomph. Where it used to just chew me up, and I would like,
Sure.
my God, is someone gonna be mad? Oh my God, is this okay? Oh my God. Like now I'm like, get on board or get out. Like
Yeah.
this is to every, like in my world, I'm like, I am just done doing that shit. I overdid it so much that now I'm like, I just don't have F's to give. I just don't. So, but I'll take it. That is a revolutionary thing for me to be like, yeah, sorry, that's, and I didn't even say sorry. I'm not going to be able to do that. I don't have time.
Right.
I've got stuff going on. So that's not going to happen. So there are things where I'm starting to just say, no. This holiday coming up, we're recording this around a holiday. I'm creating an entire workshop because I was like, we need
Yeah.
to be able to freaking say no. I'm like, legitimately, we have to be able to like revolutionize how we show up to a holiday. Okay. So that's why this is such a potent thing for me is the capacity to say, I can't make it this year. That doesn't work for me. I'm not hosting. I'm not whatever it is, whatever your jam is, right? I just want to empower people to lift them up to be able to like have that voice, right? So again, how do we use that voice? How are we taking action? Right? We're talking through the pieces of things that I think are really important that make you revolutionary. So, taking action, right? So, making sure that we're doing things that are leading to actual change, even if they're small. Being brave, huge to me. I think this takes real bravery and courage. I think to call someone out, even if you pulled up along the roadside and rolled your window down, and whether it was honking the horn or, hey, sir, like, I don't know if you're hunting. I don't know if you understand what that does to these animals. And I just want you to understand, like, it makes my heart ache.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. Like, even that's Sue standing in her power. That is her taking control of her own power. Can she stop the man from it? No, but can she speak
Right.
her truth about how it lands? When I see that, this is what I envision. That's an option.
Mm-hmm.
You can approach these things courageously, bravely in whatever form fits best for you, right? Willing to have hard conversations. I am going to be real with you. I think this is so important. And I think that we need to be having the conversations first. Okay. So
Yeah.
having the conversations about all the things is important. And then two, like have a hard conversation. It was not that long ago, and I'll just throw Sue and I under the bus because we're both here and that feels very safe to me. But she and I were having some pretty difficult conversations about the podcast, and not because we don't love it. Not, there was none of that. It was the getting all the details organized, if that makes sense. And
Mm-hmm.
we had to go back and forth a bit and suss that out. And we did it beautifully.
Yeah.
We did it beautifully. There was compassion, there was kindness, there was I'm owning my stuff to accountability and how I'm showing up in this moment. There was so many beautiful things that happened. And to
Mm-hmm.
me, that's real growth for people. Like when we can have those conversations, agree to disagree politically. These are great moments where we can lean in and say, okay, can I try to understand you? And can you try to understand me, even if we agree to disagree? And so
Right.
to me, growing the capacity to have hard conversations. So Sue and I have a really beautiful connection. And so we'll go back and forth and talk something through until it's like, okay, good. Okay, we got it now. Because it's not a fight. It's not a fight. It's not,
Right.
this is where I'm at. This is where I'm at. What do you need? What do I need? This is how I'm reading it. There was it, but there's a flow and there was conversation and dialogue. And that wasn't even about something hard. It was just could have
Right.
potentially been uncomfortable. And it
Right.
definitely was a space. And I don't know if you agree that I don't know that I would have said the same things 3 years ago, 5 years ago.
No.
So I mean,
No.
to me, that's what's
No.
cool about us and this journey is watching both of us
Yeah.
develop these tools because we've been talking about them for fucking years now. But like, so I love that you agree. I'm like, I don't even know that 3 to 5 years ago I would have felt as comfortable having that dialogue.
No, I wouldn't be doing this with you right now because I will avoid conflict Not that there was conflict, it wasn't.
I
It's
know,
not,
because we make
but
it
it's
sound
the
bad. It wasn't, but
and
yeah,
it wasn't, but
no,
the perceived conversation that's going to be hard. I'm not
yes,
good with that. And so it's
yes,
like, well, then I just won't do it anymore. So
exactly.
there you go.
It
I'm
would be
moving on.
it would
Yeah.
be easier to quit, throw in the towel, walk away,
Right.
like not do the thing. But we believe in this enough that it was like, no, let's keep diving into this. And first of all, our friendship comes first. So
Right.
there's layers of boundaries and things we've done. But I do want us to think about, can I have a fucking hard conversation?
Yeah.
Can I talk about the tough stuff? Am I willing to lean in to spaces that make me deeply uncomfortable? And we don't do it the same with every person, right? There's lots of nuance to this, and we're not going to get to all that today. But I do really want to say, I do think that having hard conversations is absolutely a revolutionary action. I just do.
Hmm.
And it starts small. So I'm not asking you to go out today and have the worst, hardest conversation of your entire life. That's not what I'm asking or suggesting. I do think we want to start leaning in and practice bite-sized pieces in all of these things. So having hard conversations, powerful. Again, power in, not power over. This is a very different energy when I have to like come in and like tackle you and make my point and like beat something home kind of. Sorry for the words,
Yeah.
but that's really where I'm getting it. If I have to feel like I have to like do something that kind of forceful and aggressive, that's not where we're going. What we are talking about is power in yourself, power in trusting yourself, power in your intuition, power in your voice, power in your actions. Those are the ways that I want you to think about power rather than power over, because that is
Right.
not right. Equality looks like this, not this. We're trying to achieve this. Okay. So equilibrium, uh, collective minded. I do think that for me, revolutionary action and revolutionary energy is very about connection. It's about collection. It's about community. It's when can we lean in together? Because I think we're so much more potent when we're together, right? Our
Right.
voices raised up as a collective. Honestly, let me think about this choir. So Sue is a singer. Sue sang at my wedding. There's a fun little factoid for anybody. I feel like we should do two truths, one lie. Actually, she did sing at my wedding. She has a beautiful freaking voice. But back in the day, I loved choir. And when I think about that, this is about like what's beautiful is you can hear one voice and oh my gosh, it's amazing. But let me tell you what would light my fucking soul on fire. So every year, one of the things we do in our high school is the choir will go around the holidays walking through school singing carols. And the sound of voices together, and I'm
Hmm.
guessing you get it's like a symphony,
Hmm.
right? An instrument creates a beautiful sound all by
Hmm.
itself, but you
Right.
start putting things together, and all of a sudden, there is this incredible experience you're having, this visceral, right? So to me, when voices are together, that harmony, that the depth of it is so much more grand. So to me, when I think about revolution, it's who can I link arms with in this journey to hold space, to hold each other up, to encourage, support, empower, inspire. We're looking for that kind of connection. So that's when I say collective mind, that I don't mean that we're all having hive mind. I'm talking we collect together to lift each other up. So there is a collective component, a sisterhood, if you will. Uh,
Yes.
the revolutionaries to me are open minded. They are. We're open to leaning in, having those hard talks, trying things out. Some will succeed, some will not succeed, but we're open minded, right? There's not just a this is the one way. I really believe that it's so important to really listen, to lean in and validate and hold space for each other to really understand in a different way. So, this to me is a very potent piece, okay? Um, Revolutionaries are aligned, they're trying for alignment in your soul. I really do believe this. And because we can be revolutionary about a million things. Back in the day in the 70s and 60s and 70s, it was peace, right?
Hmm.
Lower children, hippies, like the whole thing, right? Just a really good example of living in alignment with what feels good to you in your journey in the moment that you're in. And that's really what I mean by alignment. It's trying to take aligned action for your soul, your set of values, and the belief system that you've got. That's why you're coming in together as a group, is to create change of some kind. So that probably is in alignment with your values. And so listening to your values deeply is a huge piece of doing this kind of action in my estimation. Intuitive. I think it's listening into your soul. I think that my revolutionary people that I would want to lead are listening to their intuition. Their guts are helping guide them. They're listening. They don't negate and ignore when we've got a gut instinct to do something. We don't go, oh, because that's old women stuff. I'm not gonna lie. And
Mm-hmm.
it can be pushed out of us. We can be exposed to people. I've got a client right now who I'm working with in mentorship, and she, at a very young age, unfortunately, she had a parent that really squashed that.
Yep.
No, that's not what that is. No, that's not the reality. No, that's not actually what was said, even though it was. So it created this experience of like, oh, I can't even listen to my own inner knowing anymore because it's wrong, which is totally
Right.
inaccurate. So I'm helping her reaccess that part of her that's like a big part of her makeup, and she wants to be able to utilize that, but it's been squashed for so fucking long. We've got to go in and like reignite the fire for it. So
Yeah.
that's where I say intuitive. We want to be able to listen to this gut knowing. Like it's really important. And it's where it's holding all your juice, your power and your confidence comes from this like mid-body space. And so we want to harness that. What we know between our ears, what we know up here without somebody saying it, and what we know to be true in our gut. So to me, leading with that intuitive nature is so huge. And then, and I just want to say this because I think this is so important that Sue was like, well, I have a good story about being a rebel lately. And I'm like, love that. We paused, we stopped, we honored her story. We celebrate all women and their successes. One more time. We celebrate all women and their successes. I don't care if they're huge. Last night, one of my business besties held an event. I checked in with her this morning. How'd your event go? She's like, it was so good. I was so excited by the transformation people experienced. The author spoke and like all, and I was like, fuck yeah, lady, way to go.
Yep.
As it should be. We hold space for all of the steps and all of the bite-sized pieces and the things that we're leaning into that are freaking acts of bravery. So to me, it is really important to celebrate our successes and our wins, our moments. So what else would you add to that? Other thoughts?
Now you caught me off guard. You cannot get me unprepared. You need to send me the homework before we start doing
All right. All
this.
right. How's this? Are there any of those things that really resonate for you? Like we talked about people being powerful, brave, open-minded, aligned. Did anything strike you to the core that you were like, that? You know what I
I
mean?
think that, yeah, the intuitive part to me is a big thing because I always have been, and it's always, and again, it's always been squashed.
Yep.
Um, have I been living with the person who squashed them for my entire life? No.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go through something in your formative years that's what they are, right? They're formative.
Yes. Right.
That's when and it's nothing with malice. I don't think that the people in our lives when we're little people, um, growing up and learning and looking at the world with our fresh little eyes,
Mm-hmm.
we don't do to our kids damage on purpose, or our parents don't do damage to us on purpose, or our, not just parents, it's not, this isn't, not a picking on a parent, but the influencers in our lives as we're
Yes.
growing up. You go with what you know.
Right.
You
Right.
go with, and so when someone, like for me, as a kid, I was always like, I was into like the celestial realm. Like I loved the whole idea of like I had my idea
Mm-hmm.
of being friends with the universe before I even discovered that that's actually a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But growing up in a religious household, it's no, 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 it's God. That's God. That's God. That's God. That's God. And
Right.
neither one of those is wrong,
Right.
but it's the verbology. That's not even a word.
Yes.
I just made that up.
And now it is.
It is now. It's the verbiage. It's the, when you switch it from talking about like all you need is when you go from saying all you need is love to all you need is God, they're interchangeable. It's the same thing. The universe, God, goddess, it's all interchangeable. And
Yeah.
so when I was a kid and I would talk about this woo-woo stuff, it was like, ooh, no, that's witchcraft. That's devil worshiping. That's outside the realm
Holy
of what
shit.
God wants you to do. And that's not what the Bible says. And it's like,
Yep.
yeah, but I'm 8.
Yep.
All I know is love. Like, I don't know anything different. I don't know anything different other than, oh, I see a squirrel, or, oh, I see a cat, or, oh, I see a dog that needs a home, or needs food or whatever. Or I see, and people pick on me all the time. Like, we should take care of people. I do care about people. It's not that I don't care about people, My jam is nature. It's animals. It's my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I have to work to be around people. I just do. I always have. And
Yep.
it's because all of these thoughts and feelings are coming at me. And what happened is when I felt all the things, I was always told, stop,
Right.
stop,
Stop
stop being
doing
so
that. Stop
sensitive.
being that way.
You need to develop thicker skin. You need to learn how to take this. You need to learn how to take. And I never did. I literally never did. If somebody comes at me, I cry. I
Mm-hmm.
don't stand up for my, I don't fight back. I will. I've gotten now, I'm reaching a point where I'm better at defending myself without lashing out.
Right.
But again, that's performative. And I just want to scream back, fuck you. Stop telling me what to do. Stop telling me what to think.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't get received very well. And
Well,
so,
and it's an old wound. That's also a
correct.
response to, right? Which makes
Right.
complete sense. But I want to say that here because we're going to be talking about wounds down the road.
Right.
So I really appreciate what you're saying because that's a wound. I mean, that's what
Right.
we're told to squash it. So when you get told something, that old little 8-year-old part of you wants to come out swinging.
Right.
Just because, and maybe it's even the 8-year-old part. Maybe it's a little bit like a teenage part that's like, the fuck do you say? Because that
Right.
8-year-old's like, but wait, but like, I just wanted to do this sweet thing. So
Yeah.
understand we have those wounds that are underneath their surfaces for most of us. We're going to talk about that. That
Right.
plays a big role. So sorry about that. I just want to, because I had such a great point.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, the whole intuitive, there was somebody that I was talking to yesterday, one of my coworkers. And she was saying that there was somebody that she knows that it's just, she's like, I don't know, there's just a feeling. And she dismissed herself, like she was dismissing her own visceral gut reaction
Yes.
to
Yeah.
another person, like, oh, I'm
Yep.
sure it's just in my imagination. No, it's not. If you think that you're in a situation where you are surrounded by or in the presence of something that isn't good for you, it
Mm-hmm.
probably isn't.
Mm-hmm.
I would say 99% of the time it isn't,
Yeah.
but we ignore that. We
Yeah.
ignore because it's, oh, don't be so sensitive, or don't be, you're overreacting, you're being dramatic. You're all, again, going back to the adjectives that we were talking about that always get tagged onto women. No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I have an innate power of being able to see people.
Yeah. Yep.
This is why a lot of times I don't like being around people, because a lot of the times the people I'm around have really nasty, ishy energy. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be around it. Peace,
Mm-hmm.
love, and namaste. I hope that you work through this darkness that you're going through.
Yeah.
I can't be here for you,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yes.
And we squish that. And people are always saying, like, oh, she's woo woo. Oh, she's this, or oh, she's, whatever. And it's like, no,
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm not going through life avoiding that. It's just that I can see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think I've been an intuitive and I've had psychic abilities my entire life.
Oh, absolutely. And I remember, Jen, you and I talking about this. And I was just thinking about this the other day. You had recommended a book to me. And I'm like, when did she recommend that book? And I'm like, it was just after high school. I mean, this was a long time ago. I mean, last year. Wait. Um,
Uh-huh.
and and it was funny because then my mind went back to those days, right? And I've been doing a lot of revisiting and reevaluating like my thought and mind process. Like it all revolves so much, like my shift
Yeah.
and how I've presented myself goes way back
Yeah.
to when I was told that the way that I wasn't right.
Right. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so a lot of my years really truly have been performative.
Yep.
And it's been fine. I've gotten through it okay, but I can look back at certain moments and just be
Yeah.
like, I did not like being there for that
Yes. I agree.
5 years or 6 years
Yep.
or whatever, you know
Yep.
what I mean, in time. And
Yep.
and having talked to you, and that's why I think it's so amazing that we're still friends all these years too, because we were both so similar, but we were in different places. Does that
Yeah.
make sense? Like
Absolutely. Yep.
you knew your energy, like
Yeah.
you knew it. Obviously,
Yeah.
we're all works in progress.
Of course.
You weren't then what you are now.
No.
But me, I was like, oh, it's so cool that she has this innate knowingness about it and her intuition. Like, well, fuck, I had it too. That's why I was drawn to you. It's
Yeah.
just that mine was buried under
Yes.
a social norm
Right.
that I shouldn't have had to have been buried under.
Right. Exactly. And that to me, I love that you share that with everyone because that I think you are the average woman. I mean, that story is and what I mean is not an average woman. You're the
Right.
woman.
I'm anything but average.
Oh, no, you're not. That's absolutely fucking correct. I'll tell you every single one of you. Just trust me. She's not average. But what I will say is I think that's the average woman's experience is it
Yeah.
squished, being squashed, being told,
Yeah.
stop talking. And we're going to talk more about this is coming. I promise there is some material we're going to be leaning into where we're going to talk more about the conditioned things.
And that goes back to witchcraft.
It does.
It goes back, or the witch trials, not witchcraft. That's different. But the
Mhm.
with that, it goes back to that. It's, ooh, she's,
Yep. We're gonna silence her. She doesn't have a
yeah.
voice. We don't want to see that crazy shit. That
Mm-hmm.
crazy shit was maybe a woman having her period. That crazy shit might have been a woman with freaking anxiety. She may have just had the audacity to talk to a woman who looks like she's doing something bad and now she's
Right.
in trouble. It's asinine. I mean, it's bonkers when you think about
It's
the history. It's
so
so fucking
bonkers.
crazy. And so
Yeah.
that to me, again, exactly what you said, this is the experience that we're living in. So for you to say that this is where we're going, we're going to unravel all that old messaging, all that old, we get it. We
Mm-hmm.
all been trained in very similar ways, even if we're coming from different parts of the country or different family variations. There's some real similar messages that we're hearing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get to that. But yeah, well said. And so to me, again, just really leaning into that intuition, like you said, is it's such a power source for women. It is for everyone. All men are intuitive. This is not just a woman thing, but I do
Right.
really believe women are really wholly intuitive. There is just something about the way that we are wired that there is an innateness in it. And
Mm-hmm.
so to me, it's helping women re-access that because sometimes it gets buried. It's that stuff
Mm-hmm.
that Sue's talking about kind of gets tucked away. It's like, oh, I don't want to be too much. Oh, I don't want to say the wrong thing. Like, so we just tuck, and then we forget it's there. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, it's your fucking superpower. It's one of them.
Right.
So thank you for circling back to that one because it is, and it's interesting to try to identify it. So I appreciate you bringing your story because I'm like, okay, that helped give depth to what I was trying to say. So I'm super grateful for that. That was brilliant. Um, and so to me, let's talk about action items. So what can you do? Right? To me, what I don't want to do is just talk. I love talking and I love teaching and I've been doing it my whole career. And it's definitely one of my jams. It's why I love doing corporate events and things like that. I love teaching, period. Um, and there is real value in accountability. So I also want you to think when you think about revolutionary people, they're accountable. Even when it's ugly, like we might have to say, oh, hey, you know what? I stepped out of line. Oh, hey, I took a run at that and it wasn't the way that I would have liked to have done that. Soon I've had to do that. Hey, I said that thing. It wasn't exactly the tone I wanted to bring. Like we're practicing it all the time. She and I practice it with
Mm-hmm.
my closest friends, my family. Like we're actively doing these things. These are not things we're
Mm-hmm.
like just yapping about. So I want you to think action items. What can I be doing? Okay. So if I want you to lead, what kinds of steps can we take to start building that in? So I said, here's some options. Go back to the aspects of you as a woman that are in alignment with becoming a revolutionary. So were there parts of today, well, not even today, because this is probably a multi-part episode listen, but as you've listened, which things come forward you go, ooh, yeah, juicy. Like Sue was like, intuition, right? Like which ones really land for you? And I'm going to really quick go through the list one more time, just as a succinct so that you can hear them. So what is a revolutionary? Rebel energy, someone who sees a system that is outdated, ready to lead the change and charge is needed. They're leaders, using their voice, taking action, brave, willing to lean into and have hard conversations, powerful, power in, not power over, collective minded. There's that group we want to like come together as a whole to create change, open minded, aligned, intuitive, celebrating all women and their successes, and then accountable. So we're going to talk about this is accountability for yourself. You can listen to this podcast and kick it off the curb and cool. Thanks for listening, ladies. I appreciate your time and see you next time. Cool. That's an option. An option is to do nothing different. Another option is to start diving in. And so I would love to see you look at that list of things and like, wow, what of those things really resonates for me? Where is my revolutionary spirit? Because I can hear it in these things. Which pieces really hit for you? And then pick a form of personal development. Like this is my jam is like pick some. We just gave you 2 books today. We shared a song. Go listen to the song. That's so not hard, you guys. That's like 3 minutes of your life you can't get back. Okay. So it can be personal development. Like pick one of the books, get it on Audible, listen to 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day. Find an event. I don't care what it is. Lean into some growth, right? Always give yourself permission to grow, even if it's once a week. Okay. Find a little something to hang your hat on and start there. And add some music to our Spotify list. We want a really robust Spotify. I know this is so cheesy, but I'm like, when I'm having my dance parties, bitches, like I want your fucking songs on there. So please go to our Spotify playlist and add some good juice into it. Because
that has been so fun for me because I'm a huge music like nut. And I'm not like systematic with my music. It's not, oh, what's your favorite genre? I don't fucking know. I hear a song, I like it, I add it to my playlist. Same. I once upon a time had a Paris Hilton song on my playlist because I fucking liked it. I don't care. Yes. You know, yes. I don't care. Yes. It's a language. To me, it's a language. And yes. it is a universal language. And it is it's just incredible. I listened to Craig Ferguson's podcast. Jen had the distinct, hopefully pleasure of going with me to a Craig show in the cities last year. And he had Katie Tunstall on his podcast this week. And she is one of my absolute favorites. I had no idea she was Scottish, first of all. But also she's adorable as hell. And they were talking about music and how like she did a show, I think she said in Japan. Mm-hmm. She was singing. They had no idea. She said the majority of people in Japan, for the most part, who come to her shows don't speak English. Don't, you know, and they speak their native language, obviously, is Japanese. And she said there's something so powerful about being on stage with a bunch of people who are strangers who do know your language. Then when they don't know your language and you still feel a unity, you got 20,000 people in front of you who are listening to you and unifying with you and unifying with each other. Yep. And music is bringing you together. That's incredible. That is an incredibly powerful tool.
It's the energy of it. It's the energy of the
music. It is the energy.
It's the energy she's emitting that you're
exactly. And together, you don't have to interact with the people around you.
Exactly.
But you're connected. Exactly. And you're connected with her, even though you're never going to meet her, probably, right? Exactly. She's just one woman.
Right.
But it's incredible to me to have a bond with some. And then I work with the people that I work with, literally, including my boss. I could be the mother to every person that I work with, like age-wise. I am that much older than them. And they have been so beautiful and so brilliant in bringing me in. I think it's because I'm still really tied to my inner child. And so I think I've kind of brought myself back to their stage of life, you know, in a way. It's been really beautiful. It's very symmetric.
Yeah.
And I have asked a couple of the one identifies male, but the other one is female. Okay. And both of I've, gone to them for I'm looking for feminine power music. And I know what I like and what I'm looking for. Right. Share your playlists with me. And they both do. And it's just,
love it.
It's so cool because it gives you an idea
totally
of where their mindset is at.
Exactly.
Without, you know what I mean? Like if we spoke different languages, like if we all three of us spoke different languages, we could still communicate with each other through what we know about their musical affection.
Right.
And I think that that's just really incredible.
I do too.
So that's been really fun. The other music component that I was thinking too, and this is based on an experience that I had when I saw them in person. My friend, her dad got us tickets. Unfortunately, he got sick. He wasn't able to go with us, but we went to a show in Menominee here, my neighboring town here in little up north Wisconsin. A theater called Mabel. It's a Mabel Tainter Theater. It's called. It's this incredibly beautiful old theater. The Mabel family built it when they lost their daughter, Mabel. Or the Tainter family, I should say, built it when they lost their daughter, Mabel. And so it's just this beautiful, beautiful old stone structure right in the middle of Menominee downtown. Mm-hmm. And there was a group that was coming in and my friend invited me and she's like, I have no idea what they're about, but my dad has invited us. He's got us tickets. And I'm like, great, let's go. Mm-hmm. I listened to their music before and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. They are literally a cappella. Mm-hmm. They are from South Africa.
Mhm.
They are called Ladysmith Black Mambazo,
Okay.
and it's 9 men on a stage with 9 microphones.
Damn.
That's it.
That's cool.
Jen, when I tell you that, like, I listened to the music before I went, so I knew
A
just
little
out
bit.
of curiosity.
Sure, sure.
It was 2 hours sitting in a tiny little historical theater in a tiny little town. Not tiny, it's a university town, but it's a little compact town
Mhm.
with people of all ages, all backgrounds, all colors, all
Yes.
creeds, all
Yes.
religions, all sexual orientation,
Right.
everything.
Right.
We were just a pool of people with this group that started in the 60s, by the way.
That.
They started in the 60s, and they're still family members of the original founders in this group. And they interact with, I can't even explain the experience that we had. And there were no instruments, literally microphones. That's it. And they didn't need that because the acoustics in that theater is incredible.
Oh, that's
But
awesome.
they had them anyway. And I remember thinking in the middle of it, because they were engaging with us, and they were their accents are not
Oh,
unsexy,
that's
let's be
right.
real. And they were charming, and they were humble, and they were talented. It was incredible. And they were so funny. They had us like sing along, and it was their language, which,
I bet
let's
that.
face it, you know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
we all have the Midwest twang, so we're not really sure about your South
Mm,
African vernacular there.
you
But
betcha.
they would have us, it was just so sweet because they would be like, okay, sing this. And they would tell us what it meant.
Yeah.
And then we would all collectively sing it. And he would go, perfect. Well, we botched it up like you would not believe. Their message, their soul message, truly, truly is love,
Oh, that's so
peace,
cool.
unity. Of course, they
Oh,
talked about Nelson Mandela
I
and
love that.
how they were all there
Yeah.
when everything revolutionized
Right, right,
with
right.
their country, and that
Yep.
wasn't that long ago.
Yep.
And so just this idea of this small group of men being in the small theater, it was that tiny little drop that can ripple and ripple and ripple and ripple. We got done, and I remember thinking, before I get so emotional when I think about it, there was a point, I think it was maybe just like in the middle of the second act, where
Mhm.
I'm like, this is pure magic. Because I
Oh,
kind of looked around the theater and everybody was engaged. Nobody was looking at their watch. Nobody was coughing. Nobody was having
yeah,
done theater. You know what the signs are when people are ready to go.
yeah.
Everybody was just fixated on these men and their talent and their message. And I'm like, this is magic.
That's
And
cool.
when it got done, we all stood, we gave him a standing ovation. And my friend Cora turned to me and she said, this was magic. And I'm
Oh,
like, that's exactly what I was thinking. I had
isn't that?
tears
Oh,
streaming down my face
I get
the
it.
entire experience. It
I
was
get it.
absolutely
Yeah,
life changing. It
yeah. No,
was
I get it.
incredible. So that's another like message of love, because it's in bringing that back to the feminine revolution. We as women deliver the message of love. That's what we are.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so we're breaking through that, having been stifled in us all this. It's been stifled. It has.
Mm-hmm.
We would love nothing more than to just do the hippy dippy thing and
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Right,
Everybody is equal and everybody is this and
right,
everybody is
right,
that.
right,
The
right, right.
fire that's burning in us right now is
Yeah,
the desire to get that back,
right.
because
Yeah,
we had it once
yeah, right.
and now we're done not having it.
Yeah. And it needs to be fueled by power. I mean, I think that's the thing. That
Exactly.
love needs to be fueled by power. And I don't,
Yes.
again, power over, power in, right? We're talking
Correct.
power in, but I think you're so right. And I think that we want you guys to go in and add your battle cry. To me, this
Mhm.
this playlist is, some of them is, I have songs there that are ragey. I have songs that are sappy. We have dance music. I have Jumanji in there, which I literally cannot hear without moving my body. Like, it's so much fun to listen to.
I
But
love that.
there's a line in there that says something about she ain't nothing nice. And he's getting at the while he's getting at that, like, yeah, like, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm here for, like, I'm not always nice. Like, I fucking love that shit, right? Like, a little
Right.
saucy and salty. So to me, it's like really harnessing those vibrations. And that is so true, that music is the great human common denominator. I think smiling is, I think laughter is, I think music has a way of bringing us all together in such a profound way. And that's
Mm-hmm.
why we want you to have this playlist. This is a playlist I want you to pull up. Honestly, ladies, like you're going to a fucking job interview. You're going to somebody who you want to have hire you for a position. I don't care where you're going. You've got a family function. You're like, all right, I know we have horrible history together, but I'm going to fucking nail it this year. And you're pulling up Chumbawamba. I get knocked down, but I get up again. Like, I don't care what your jam is. I just want you to have those tunes that light your effing soul on fire, that
Mm-hmm.
inspire you to go out and take action and live in the way that you want to be. So that is what this playlist is. Yes, it's fun. Yeah, it might have some dance tunes in it, and we might pull it up and like have a rock out session. And also, it's so if it's the sound you like, okay, great. Is it a message you like? Great. Is it powerful? Does it resonate? Does it bring tears? I mean, like, been in the same boat. Went to Imagine Dragons, my husband and I, best concert I've ever been to in my life, which sounds super funny. But for the song Secrets, and there's a cello. They're
Mm-hmm.
literally in the concert, I'm not kidding, on a small stage is the gentleman with his effing cello by himself. When I tell you, tears, the sound and the energy is so profound, like what Sue just said. Literally tears running down my face. I'm so moved. I've heard the song a million times on the fucking radio.
Right.
So moved by the actual vibration in this place and the
Mm-hmm.
fucking dead silence of everybody.
Yeah.
So locked in, so hearing it, so singing along that it was like this. I was like overwhelmed by the beauty of it, to be real. That is the power that music has. It's the power of our voices raising together. It's all of that. It's the energy. So this is a space we can create some really cool energy together just by going in and adding some songs. So if you find something that like inspires, please, 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 for all that's holy, go add it into our list. We can't wait to hear. I can't wait to hear what you're bringing.
Yeah.
This gives Sue and I the capacity to listen to your voice,
Right.
even if it isn't actually your voice. Like we get to hear your voice, the songs you choose to share with us. So
Right.
please go in and add to that because we would love it. So the other thing we want to do on our podcast is shout out to women. So at the end of it, because I think this is potent. I think this is celebratory. And so I'm going to go first because poor Sue. I told her earlier, but again, like some of this today was like, surprise, these are my ideas. So I'm going to start for my shout out, and I'm going to give a shout out to my friend and mentee, Julie. And she has been my VA for years. She's freaking incredible. She's got her shit so, oh my God, she's so organized. She's so on the horn. And she helped me do my retreat. And when I tell you, there's no fucking way I could have done that without her. Like when I say to you, the level of strength that she brought me I can't, there's not enough words to have gratitude. That's all I'm going to say, because literally, and I don't even know that she would be so right now. She's going to listen. She'd be like, are you fucking kidding? She'll want to kill me. I'm just going to tell you right. She's like, oh my God. But like, because for her, it's just who she is. Like, she does not think that that's magic, but that's a fucking superpower. How
Mm-hmm.
she showed up holding space for a group of women and herself and me, cooked food, helped keep all the wheels on the track. Literally, the woman is a fucking superstar. And so I just want to give a shout out because I was so grateful and touched by how she showed up in every single way at that event. And I literally looked at her and I'm like, I can't imagine ever doing a retreat where you're not there. Literally, that's how profound it was for me to have her energy and her presence and her groundedness. There's just something so fucking authentic about her. So it was just our working together this is so, because we'd never met in person before this retreat. And it was
Mm-hmm.
so easy. I was like, are you kidding? We met. It was just like, like, I was like, this, I know we work well together because obviously I asked her to come and do this with me, but I was like, it's magic. Like the capacity we have to just get in a zone and like do the thing, freaking cool as hell to see. So
That.
that's my shout. This visit, I'm giving a shout out to Julie because I think Julie kicks ass. And I think she is such a light in the world, and I think she's still figuring out just how much she is. So here's to Julie for kicking ass and being an incredible light in this world, and I cannot wait to see when she knows that to her core, because it's coming. I know it's there, but we're gonna get that shit really rolling because I want her to be like, oh hell yeah, oh hell yeah. So to Julie today is my shout out to women. Who would you like to shout out to?
To Julie. I am going to shout out, I've mentioned her already in this podcast, but I'm going to shout out to Cora. Not because it's easy and, I didn't have any time to prepare, but honestly and truly, I know I'm such a dick. But But honestly, because I met her, the first time that I met her was we worked together. She started working at the radio station that I worked at. Um, we hadn't really talked that much. And then we had promoted our station had promoted a Rick Springfield show at the Northern Wisconsin State Fair. So we were actually backstage waiting to meet him and just standing there. And I was with at the time, my husband. And we had, like I said, we hadn't really talked. And so we kind of struck up a conversation, and she'd been working there for a couple months. It's not like she'd been there for like years and we've never talked. We just hadn't traveled in any social circles yet at that point. And she captured my attention, not because drinking was involved, but because her adorable way of being, like, I can't even explain it. She had on these cargo pants, and she reaches into her pocket and she's like, oh my God. And she pulls this can of Bud Light Lime out and she cracks it and she goes, I am so drunk. And she cracks this can. And I'm like, I had never seen this side of her because, again, we hadn't spoken.
Yeah.
And she's so matter of fact. And then there was another point, and this has nothing to do with alcohol. I promise you, we are not connected by alcohol. It's not like we go out and drink or anything like that.
Yeah.
But there was another point. It's just her delivery. It's just her way of, like, she truly does stand in her own power in the way that she does not give a fuck.
I love that. It's so refreshing when you're around.
It is so refreshing. And it's so like, and even I don't know, there's just something about her that I cherish my friendship with her so much. And there was another point in time, we were at another show, and we were hanging out with the band, and we were backstage, and there was just as there's going to be a shit load of booze. And we were looking to make a drink. And I said, oh, well, here's a bottle of vodka, which, by the way, I don't drink anymore. I said, well, here's a bottle of vodka, but it's sealed. It's not open yet. And Cora just lifts it up and she looks me straight in the eye and she goes, and she takes it and she twists the top and she goes, oops. and mixed us up a little cocktail. And it's like, it's this personality that says, okay, we're going to buck the norms, but we're not really bucking the norms. We're bucking the norms that we think are the norms.
Yes.
What we're doing is we're getting shit done.
Yeah.
This isn't, and the reason that I use those two things as an example is because I've always just followed the status quo.
Yeah.
It's, especially when it comes to certain things, that you don't take the last cookie at a Lutheran event. You don't take the last piece of pizza. You don't take the last, you don't take the last deviled egg. You just don't. And then there's Cora. Oh, look, there's a deviled egg left. I think I'm going to eat it because I wanna. You know what I mean? It's that type.
Yeah, she just feels like unencumbered by something.
Very.
And I love it. She's very vibrant. I've met her once. Like,
yes,
her energy is just beautiful, and she is a hoot. Like,
she is. Oh my God, she's so funny.
She's vibrant, and she does feel like the unencumbered woman that I think I keep working on achieving more of in my life. So, like, she's such a good inspiration from that. Hell, it isn't open. Well, shit, now it is. Whoopsie.
Well, now it's open. Oops. And no harm, no foul, right? I mean, we're not going out. Exactly. We're not going out and stealing stop signs from busy intersections or anything like that. No. It's this, it's just this way about her that it's her own little, almost like her own little personal rebellion.
I love it.
That we're just getting shit done. And then in the meantime, and I'm hoping that we've talked about having like people on and stuff like that. And I'd love to have her story on. So I won't start telling her story because it's not my story to tell. But she had a massive shift in her life last year that continued to result in a few more shifts. And now she's regrown, or not regrown, but she's continuing to grow in like this progressive way towards even more of her own higher self. And it's just been so much fun to watch her go through this transition. It's very inspiring. It's like, she's all about the love. I mean, she really is. She's like, I've heard her say the phrase more than once. I love love. Yeah. It's just how she is. And being in her, like being around her, being in her, I shouldn't have said that. But being around her and being in her,
just gloss that over.
Being in her energy and being, not that there's anything wrong with that. But being in her energy and being around her it's one of those things where, like, I feel like sometimes I can be an energy vampire but I feel very like the way that she sets up her own boundaries is okay, if you're going to hang out with you have to come to play.
Mm-hmm.
And that means it's tit for tat. It
Mm-hmm.
is, she's
Mm-hmm.
bringing her zhuzh, you're bringing your zhuzh. And if you don't bring your zhuzh, she's leaving.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
it's not a spoken thing. It's
Right.
nothing like
Right.
that.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
just,
Right.
if
Yeah.
she's going to come in and be her true self, then
Yeah.
you have to do the same
Right.
thing
Right.
and reciprocate.
Yeah. Of
And
course.
so, and like even last week, I was just like, oh my God, we haven't seen each other in like a whole week, you know? And I'm like, I'll come and see you on Friday because we had a bunch of catching up to do. And we've gotten into this little tradition where like I go over to her house and we go into her room because she has roommates now.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'll go into her room and we'll like we're teenagers. I'll like
Mm-hmm.
crawl on her bed and she's got a little cat. Last Friday I had Ziggy there. Ziggy met her cat Binks the Sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
She's a
Mm-hmm.
hairless cat. She's amazing. Um, and we're like hanging on her bed and we watch TV. We were watching boxing last week.
Mm-hmm.
And I had said to her before, I was coming over, I'm like, my week, I'm spent. I'm in a show. I had rehearsals every night. And I'm only going to stay for a little while. Oh, no, 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 no. We went for a drive. We took her son to pick up his cars. We drove him home. We came back here. We went to pick up Ziggy. We met Jeffrey for dinner. It was like 6 hours.
Yep.
And it was just, instead of exhausting me even more, I was already tired, it actually rejuvenated me. And I'm hoping it did the same thing for her. I'm hoping that I provide the
Yeah.
same thing for her. But just her, like I said, just everybody needs to know Cora. This is the girl who, if you're going to get together with her, you better have your passport updated because you don't know where you're going to end up because you cannot say no to this girl.
Yeah.
I landed on a sleigh ride. This was years ago. She
Mm-hmm.
struck up a conversation with a guy the night before. He was talking, we met him through another friend. He was talking about how he was going on a sleigh ride with his friends the next day. She
Mm-hmm.
somehow pinpointed where the guy lived. We fucking showed up at the house. She showed up at the house where I was dog sitting and
Mm-hmm.
forced me like basically into the car. And she's like, here, I brought you mittens so you won't be cold. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
And we showed up and the guy's like, all right, we're going for a sleigh ride. And I'm like, sweet Jesus, we're trespassing.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh my God.
And it was so like, and I've heard people say that about Cora too. Like she seriously could charm
Mm-hmm.
any criminal into changing their ways. Like she's just that magical.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was a really long explanation and a lot of stories, but thank you for showing up for that.
Oh, that's so good. So for Julie and Cora, we celebrate you ladies. We are so blessed to be in your energy, in your presence. You're bringing power in your own unique way. And that's something that I know Sue and I really value and we respect. So thank you for being part of our sisterhood. Thank you for both of you showing up the way that you have in our lives because you've inspired both of us. So thank you so much. So to everyone who's listening today, thank you so much for showing up and hanging out with Sue and I as we dive into this gritty kind of new space that we're feeling our way through, but we just know that we're so passionate about bringing this information about how to be revolutionary, how to shift the gears of time and kind of decondition ourselves a little bit, if you will, from the old
Recondition,
decondition, unconditioned, decondition,
recondition,
whatever.
recondition.
We're going to do that. And so that's why we're here. And we're just excited to bring this information to you. So thank you so much for sharing your time and space with us. Please, please go take some action. Please go add some things to our Spotify playlist. Come back next time for sure. That's an action item you should be taking for sure. But anything else you want to shout out to, Sue, before we close for today?
No, not at
No.
all. I'm very excited. No, no.
Nope. No, thanks. So
I am very excited about this new venture.
me too. Me too. So thanks so much for hanging tight with us, everyone. We hope you've enjoyed these episodes and we are looking forward to the next one. So take care until next time, friends. We'll be back around bringing you more revolutionary content on how to be your best and badass feminine self. So, all right, everybody, take care. We'll talk to you guys next time.
Bye.